What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Ravens Media, bringing Ravens content every single day. If you want to see daily Ravens content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell as well if you want to get notified every single time I upload a brand new video. Now, first off, I apologize that I sound horrible right now. I went to the dentist earlier today, so I'm trying to make a video. It may not end up being too long. However, I did want to get a video out because there's a lot of topics that I want to talk about over the next couple of days and weeks as the Ravens are finalizing their roster, looking at different players to bring in. So I'm obviously going to be talking about a lot of the wide receivers. The first one I'm going to be talking about is obviously Jarvis Landry. However, I will talk about the other players as well. Guys like T.Y. Hilton, Julio Jones, Odell Beckham Jr. I'll talk about all of them, so let me know what guy you want me to talk about next. But let's get in. Oh, and also, before I get into the video, thank you guys so much for 3,000 subscribers. We just hit it last night while on live. And guys that were in the live stream, everybody that was in the live stream, when we hit that, we gave a little announcement. I will say that announcement, we got the ball rolling. It should be done very, very soon. We got the initial part of it done, so that should be all set. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go check out the live stream and find that point, and things like that. Also, check out the airtime that we set up to have a communication. I put that out on the page. I'll probably put that in the comment section down below. Check that out if you want to, have it. It's like a messaging, and then you can also go live and talk with people on it. But let's get into it. Let's talk about Jarvis Landry. I think Jarvis Landry would be a great player for the Baltimore Ravens to go after. Is he the flashiest? Is he the fastest? Is he the biggest? Is he the best jump ball wide receiver? No, he is not. What is he? He's an intermediate, short route, pure hands, good route running wide receiver. I think that's what the Ravens would love to have. We have our jump ball guys. Tylen, Prochet, you can even argue Bateman. We have, some deep threats. Duvernay, who's also a good, short intermediate route, but he's very fast. And then obviously, I think Tylan Wallace is a good deep threat. Prochet could maybe be a deep threat. But we have those guys. I think having a short intermediate route runner with good hands and veteran leadership could be very good for this Baltimore Ravens team, because that's what Jarvis Landry is going to bring you. Right? He's a chain mover, third downs, and I think that would allow for us to have Bateman and Jarvis, who are both chain movers. And Bateman, I think, is much more athletic. He can definitely be a vertical threat, a jump ball wide receiver. But two guys that can move the chain on third downs would be absolutely critical for the Ravens to have. And Jarvis isn't hurt, which is why I have him going first over Odell Beckham Jr., because Odell, we don't know exactly when he's going to be able to come back from his injury. So Jarvis Landry in the last couple of seasons, obviously it hasn't been as good as he was in Miami. Right? In Miami, he was putting up, 100 yards, 100 receptions a year, right around 1,000 yards. Last 2 years, Jarvis Landry, 840 yards 2 years ago, 570 this past year, right around 11 yards per reception. He's not a big touchdowns guy. But the biggest thing is he was playing with Odell. He was the wide receiver 2 for the first time in his career. But the other thing is he was playing with Baker Mayfield. And I'm actually a fan of Baker Mayfield. I like his game. Is he a top 10 quarterback? Absolutely not, but I like Baker. However, Baker is not a quarterback that is going to elevate his wide receivers. He's not going to elevate the passing game. He is going to move the ball after the play action, after the run is established. So that's why Jarvis Landry, we actually saw Jarvis Landry a lot, playing against him in the AFC North, and he was actually very good against the Ravens, because third downs, Baker would just be able to check it down to him, and he was that go-to guy. He could be that go-to guy for the Baltimore Ravens. Last season, 52 receptions, 570 yards, only 2 touchdowns. It's just one of those things where you look at it, and is he the best receiver in the NFL? No, he's not. But when we're looking at the players available, he could get a similar deal to Sammy Watkins, around a $5 million contract and a 1-year prove-it deal. I think that could be something that the Ravens could orchestrate and set up. So he would be cheaper than, I think, an Odell. I think he'd probably be cheaper than a Julio, because he just hasn't produced nearly as well as them, and the ceiling is not nearly as high, right? Julio Jones was, arguably the best receiver in the NFL for a couple of seasons. Odell has been one of the best receivers in the NFL for multiple seasons. When he's healthy, he's still one of the best receivers in the NFL when he's not playing with Baker Mayfield. Jarvis Landry, his peak is like pretty good. But he hasn't been at that peak in 4 or 5 seasons. So he would be a little bit cheaper. He'd be able to come in. The question with him is, would he be willing to come to the Ravens? You know, we saw Odell and him really hating on Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters. They were very excited about the contract extensions. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them very well, but they were really excited about it, and they love trash talking. So would he, I don't know, put it past his ego to come to the team that he hated probably the most in the NFL? That's the biggest question mark I have, right? If he wants to be here, I think it would be worth it for the Ravens to bring him in because he's not an off-the-field issue. That's not going to be a problem. It doesn't seem like he's been a guy who has had the issues of, oh my gosh, they're not giving me the football, and I'm going to go whine about it. I haven't noticed, at least not drastically. He's probably had games where he was like, man, I wish I got the ball more. But it hasn't been to the level of an Odell, to the level of an Antonio Brown. Like, he's not going to be a distraction in that sense. He's a competitor. He wants to win, and he's going to do everything that he can to do so. He's cheap. He can do what the Ravens need him to do, be a chain mover. I think that's why he would be a really good signing for the Ravens, if he goes for the $5 million mark that I set. Now, Spotrac has his value at like $10 million, which I think is completely off. A comparable player, I think, is Sammy Watkins. Like, Sammy Watkins is the guy that you want to compare to him. Oh, when he's healthy, he's solid. However, he's had a little bit of consistency issues over the last couple seasons, a little bit of injuries. That's the perfect comparison right there, Sammy Watkins. And I think he would be able to be wide receiver 2, 3, or even 4 coming into this year as just a sure-handed chain mover. And I feel like I'm repeating myself, but that's what he's bringing. Like, I'm trying to enforce that idea that that's what he's going to bring to the table. He's not going to add a deep threat element. He's not going to add a crazy playmaker. When he gets the ball in his hands, he's not fast. He's actually, I believe, the least athletic receiver in NFL history. Like based on combine results. Like, he is horrifically unathletic for an NFL player standpoint. However, he's a technician. And he can teach those techniques to the Ravens' other wide receivers, the younger guys. I think it would be a really smart signing, guys. Let me know what you guys think about it. Thank you so much for, 3,000 subscribers, for watching the video, all the way through if you get to this point. And I apologize again for me sounding really bad. It hurts so much to talk. That's why I'm kind of cutting it short. But thank you guys so much. And I'll see all of you again tomorrow. And I will definitely sound better and have a much better video in terms of length. But thank you guys, and I'll see all of you again next time.